What's up, friends? How's everyone?
Hi.
Happy Monday. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy time zone. I hope everyone is as excited as I am today. It's Monday. It's sunny. It's a lovely day out there. We have an exciting week. We have 4 hours of stream today, which is going to be insane, back to back. And we have our very good friend. Is it Julien Dubois?
Julien Dubois, if you speak French.
I speak just enough French to be dangerous. So we have Julien Dubois from France, all the way. Are you in Paris? Are you based in Paris?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm nearby Paris.
There you go. All the way from France. So we're being inclusive to our European friends as well. And we're excited to have you here. What are you going to talk to us about, Julien? What do you do? What do you do at Microsoft first and foremost?
Oh yeah. So thank you. So I'm Julien Dubois. I work at Microsoft in developer advocacy. So I'm in fact managing the Java developer advocacy team. So I work in Java at Microsoft, and so we have a lot of Java at Microsoft. It's not just Azure. We've got Java everywhere in the company.
Yes.
So we're a team of Java developer advocates, and well, we do many things, but most importantly, and concerning what we're going to talk about today, we work on Java on Azure. And so there's many ways to run Java on Azure, of course. Today I will be using App Service because it's basically the easiest way to get a Java app running on Azure. And for today, we're going to talk about security. So we're going to talk about Active Directory because, well, that's what everybody uses to secure the app in big companies or even elsewhere. The goal today is to create, I would say, very standard, very classical Java application, deploy it to Azure, and secure it with. So we're going to talk about security. And again, I'm a Java guy, so it will be oriented towards Java people. So I will talk about security, Spring security, the kind of things that Java people use to secure their apps.
That's the main framework, like MVC for ASP.NET, right? More or less.
Oh yeah, so Spring is like the main framework to secure a Java app. So like I would say that 90% of people are using Spring Security to secure their Java apps. Some other people have some other frameworks, but usually they are also copying on Spring Security. So what we're going to do today is, I would say, very classical, and even if you don't use it, you're probably using something similar. So it would be like the normal way to secure a Java app.
Right.
The only trick we have today is that we want to get those security data, authentication and authorization. We want them to come from Active Directory, which is, I would say, a bit more unusual, maybe.
And so you mean by Active Directory, you mean Azure Active Directory, not the on-premises Active Directory, right?
Yeah, I'm speaking about Azure Active Directory. I don't think from what we do. I mean, I've only used Azure Active Directory, but from what we do, I believe it's the same thing, whatever installation type you have for Active Directory. But I mean, I haven't used it. I am not an Active Directory expert, so please excuse me if sometimes I might say stupid things about Active Directory. Again, from what we are going to do today, it's, I would say, normal stuff. So it should be good for everybody to follow normally.
Sure. Okay. And we have we're not going to use Azure Spring Boot. No, we're using Azure Web Apps.
Yeah, sorry. On Azure, we've got different ways to deploy Java app and especially Spring Boot apps.
Right.
And we've got this great platform called Azure Spring Cloud. I've been working on Azure Spring Cloud since, before it was public, in fact.
Right.
What we're going to do today works exactly the same way with Azure Spring Cloud. Azure Spring Cloud is an easiest way to deploy your Spring Boot app and especially your microservices. So if you want to have service discovery, auto configuration, and so on, it will be much better on Azure Spring Cloud. But like what I'm going to do today is a very simple REST API. So this would work basically the same everywhere. So Azure App Service is easier and probably cheaper if you want to do something as simple as what I'm going to do today. Of course, if you got more, I would say, realistic workload, maybe you should go to Azure Spring Cloud. Anyway, what I'm going to do today is exactly the same on both. It will work the same.
Oh, nice. Cool. So are there any specific requirements to working with Java on Azure? Are we supporting all the versions of Java? Is there anything that people should know when they approach cloud development with Java and Azure?
Oh, trick questions. Yes and no. So on Azure, you can deploy, I would say, anything. If, for example, if you want to deploy your Java application as a Docker image, well, you can put anything you want in your Docker image. So
right.
With this, of course, we support everything. Then if you want to use something like App Service, so App Service, it's a platform as a service. Same thing with Azure Spring Cloud. Those are platform as a service. So we give you and we manage for you the operating system and the Java version. So you will be able to select maybe between Java 8 and Java 11. But if you want like a specific minor version, or if you want Java 16, which is just out, well, you can't because we do not provide them. On the other hand, first of all, as I would say, normal Java developer, you should be happy with Java 11. Normally, you can do whatever you want with it. You probably have little interest to select a specific minor version. And because we manage everything for you, on the other hand, what you are getting is that you have a fully supported version of Java. That means you're not having like an OpenJDK version that you would download on the internet and update by yourself. You've got a supported version of Java from Microsoft, with our partner Azure system, and we do the patching and upgrading for you. So you've got much less work. So basically, you've got the choice between, I would say, full control, for example, with Docker image, where you put everything that you want, and full productivity, App Service or Azure Spring Cloud. Of course, if you got full control, well, you are less productive because you've got more things to manage. And if you want to have full productivity like Azure Spring Cloud and App Service, you've got a little less control because we are managing stuff for you. So it's a choice. And basically, I'm not taking sides here. Whatever you think is better for you, well, we support. And from what we are doing today, everything should work the same because it does not rely on a specific version of Java. Spring Boot works from Java 8 to Java 16 without any trouble, so there's no big deal. It's mostly a matter of maybe technical limitations. Maybe you need a very specific version of Java for what you do. It's very rare, but you never know what people do. And I would say personal test. Maybe you want to be on the latest version because you want to have the latest new features of Java. Maybe you want to be on a long-term supported version because you are afraid that things break and maybe you have got some regulatory compliance that you need to follow. It's more a matter of test than anything else.
Nice. Okay. I like that. So, and what kind of IDE are you using? Do you use VS Code? Do you use IntelliJ? Anything else?
So for today, it's a tough question. So today we'll be using IntelliJ.
Perfect.
So I'm using it for very personal reasons. I'm using it for I don't know, more than 10 years. I don't even recall when I started, but for a very long time ago. So when I want to do live coding, I'd rather use it because I'm very used to it and I'm never making I do less mistakes because I use it very well. Then honestly, for this kind of demo, I should be using Visual Studio Code. Especially for one good reason. Visual Studio Code is fully open source. Anybody can use it. I'm using IntelliJ, the Ultimate Edition, which is something which you have to pay for. It's if you want to follow what I'm doing, I should. If I was a good developer advocate, I should be using Visual Studio Code so you can follow what I do without having to pay for the Ultimate Edition.
Well, the nice thing is that on our show, we can talk about anything, any product, any technology, as long as you use Microsoft Identity. So no judgment here about which ID are you using. And by the way,
both are good.
Yes.
And I'm just saying that the paying version is better than an open source version. And I mean, thank God it's better when you pay because otherwise.
So are you saying? So are you talking about Eclipse as the free version ID, or are you talking about the community version of IntelliJ?
For IntelliJ, so I'm using the Ultimate Edition. So it's something. So it costs like €500 per year, which is pretty expensive.
Wow. Okay.
So that's why I've got an unfair advantage here compared to other people. I'm not using any specific paying options. If with what I'm doing, just I'm so used to it. It's very hard for me to switch to something else. Demo. If it was recorded, maybe I would use Visual Studio Code. But for live coding, this is stressing me too much. So I'd rather have what I use every day.
That's fine. So what I'm going to say, it's a shameless plug, obviously, but we are working with IntelliJ team to add support for Azure AD in the ID. So you should be able to use the Azure Toolkit for IntelliJ, which I hope you're using. And in there will be an option to work with Azure AD directly. So you don't have to context switch and go to Azure, the portal, do certain things and come back to your ID. So we're trying to make the experience even better. Yeah.
I did not know that. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we just kicked off the project. So we're probably going to be reaching out to you for some early testing. We need some Java developers to help us out. And
that's very interesting.
Dog food. Yes.
Yeah, well, with great pleasure. I would be very happy to test it.
There you go.
Again, I'm using IntelliJ all the time, so
yes.
for everything like this, I'm very happy to use it. Honestly, both IDEs. I mean, Visual Studio Code and IntelliJ are great. It's just one is open source and free, so for doing a demo, I should use that better than a paying one. But
sure,
it's not changing anything to what we're going to do today.
I don't want you to stress, my friend. So whatever works for you. We're not. We're very inclusive to all IDs, all languages, on all platforms. There you have it.
Exactly.
So are we ready for some demos? Are we ready to go and build something? Okay, let me change the scene so we can all see your glorious screen.
Oh,
transitioning. See, I even have transitions worked out to the T now. So everybody should be able to see your screen. There you go. Yep. And I can see you have your GitHub repo there. I like. You know what?
Yeah.
Everyone that is coming on the show is naming their repos 4 to 5. So I think GitHub will be littered with 4 to 5 show demos.
That's why I started with a dead, just to be sure.
That's good. And good morning to our very good friends Bolt and Yanisku, who are on the chat. Identity rocks indeed. So today we're going to see how to do it with Java.
Oh, yeah. Hi. I'm seeing the chat too. So what we're going to do, I've already put it in a repo.
Yes,
as you can see, I finished coding it like 1 hour ago, so I'm really totally...
Just 1 hour ago. I love it. It's fresh, right out of the oven.
I was nearly changing stuff 5 minutes ago, but then I'm afraid to break everything. So we're going to code this. It's just here as, first of all, for everybody to have a look at, once it's finished and so on. So we have something good for reference. It's also for me, if I mess up anything, I can still have a look at the repo and see where I messed up. But everything that is here, we're going to code live because, of course, it's more fun. And also, it's better to understand how it works if you code it live than if you just have a look at something which is already coded. So let's get started, if that's fine with everybody. And look at the chat. Yeah, we look happy. Okay, so there are many ways to start a Spring app. One of the easy solution is to use this, which is called spring.start.io. It's not the only solution to generate a Java project. It's probably the better known solution. At least it's very well known and a lot of people use it. I'm mostly using it because it's going to generate a very simple application. It's not going to do something very complicated. So we can then have a look at what has been generated, and then we can, of course, improve it and secure it very easily. So I'm going to create a Java project coded in Java. One small limitation we have right now on Azure is that we should use not the latest version, but the version before. Let me just show you here, when I say add dependencies, if I tap Azure, we currently do not support with Azure the latest version of Spring Boot. It will be supported like next week or in 2 weeks. It's in the next, you will soon have something to just not at the latest version at this very moment.
Okay.
It's not changing anything for what we do, honestly.
So it doesn't work with SQL driver yet?
With the Azure SDK. There are some limitations in the Azure SDK.
Okay.
So I'm not pushing people to take stuff that do not fully work. It's like working at 90%, but I'd rather be especially as there's no consequence. I'd rather use a supported version for my demo. So I'm going to add a few dependencies. So I'm going to use web because I want to do some REST APIs, and I'm going to use, of course, Azure. So because Azure SDK and Azure Active Directory. And we want security, of course. So
yes.
I'm going to add Spring Security.
So you can pick and choose what you want to have in the app, and it does it for you?
Yes.
Damn.
Yes. And it's a bit smart. As you can see, it's not allowing me to do, but sometimes it's not that smart. It's you don't expect too much, but
okay,
it's good to get started. And also, I also wanted to have OAuth2 because we're going to use OAuth2 to connect to Active Directory.
Yes.
So here, you see, it's not that smart. I need to know a little bit what I'm doing, but honestly, it's much better than doing stuff manually. So
interesting. You have an Azure Active Directory component or dependency, but you also need to bring an OAuth2 client to acquire tokens. Is that it? So is the first one for authenticating and the second one is for acquiring access tokens, more or less?
Yeah, and it's to make the link with Spring Security. Spring Security will use OAuth2, and with OAuth2 it will connect to Active Directory. So you need like all three to.
Okay.
So yeah, that's basically that's part of the trick that we need to explore today, because it's not that hard, but if you don't know it, well, it's going to be complicated for you. I just wanted to add one more thing with Spring. It's the Spring Boot DevTools. This thing, so it's nothing to do with Active Directory. It's when you use that thing, it's auto reload your code. So when you code, it's much easier. So for my demo, it will be much better. I will have live reload. When I compile my code, it will automatically reload, which is much better for doing a demo. So I'm going to generate this, and so it downloads a demo.zip file, and I'm going to open it up with IntelliJ. If IntelliJ wants to start, here it is. Sorry, it's on my other screen, demo, and new window. Sorry, it's appearing here now. So we're going to have a look at what we generated. I said some good things about IntelliJ, so I hope now it's going to work fine. And so it should automatically understand what the application is, because there's like nothing in it. It should be very simple. I used Maven, so we can build it with, and we've got the code here. So it's very simple. I can start it right away. If I start it, well, it's an empty app. So in fact, it's so empty, I'm going to have a 404 error because there's not even an index patch.
Oh, wow. So it's that empty. Like nothing. The bare bones is truly bare bones.
Yes, it's very bare bones. That's why I want to use it here, because the goal is to have a look at how we add security on something which is very simple. For normal people, it might be too simple, but for our demo, it's good.
So I have to ask this one. A very good question here would be, okay, so you convinced me that Microsoft Identity is the way to go, but I already have a 3-year-old Java app running somewhere. How easy is it to go and retrofit? And let's say it's a Spring Boot app, right? How easy is it to retrofit Identity into that?
If it's Spring Boot, so usually with Spring Boot, you've got a very good story of upward compatibility. So you need to upgrade Spring Boot to today's version. Okay. It's usually not that hard. It depends. When you upgrade Spring Boot, you also upgrade all the underlying dependencies. So you will have, of course, you will need to upgrade Active Directory, but you will need to upgrade, I don't know, Hibernate or whatever other things that you are using. So maybe there will be some issue on some of those dependencies. Spring Boot by itself is usually complicated to upgrade. Usually, so you got some resources here. That's the configuration files is here. Let's put some random configuration. Sure. Yeah. If I take server.port, so this is the current configuration to select the port of my running app. Maybe that configuration key has changed. That's the kind of things that change between major versions. This one probably never changed, but you see the idea. So when you upgrade, you need to upgrade usually your application properties file, and have a look at your configuration files. Usually it's working quite well for Spring, and so the issues are mostly with the external dependencies. It depends on what you use. I usually have good stories to, when I'm upgrading Spring Boot projects. So usually it's not that hard.
So I have a slightly related, but probably not super related question. Phil Snabel from the Microsoft Developer channel is asking, what is a good bytecode decompiler on JVM? I'm trying bytecode viewer, but it struggles with bytecode created by Scala, for example.
Oh yeah, well, if you use Scala, it's even worse. If you use Scala...
So the answer is don't use Scala. I'm just kidding.
No, but I mean, use Scala, but if you decompile bytecode that was generated by Scala, you're probably going to have a hard time. Right. I don't specific decompiler for Scala, but it looks... it's going to be problematic. Otherwise, I have several ones. Hang on, I need to... there's something called Gcompile. I need to check, hang on, because I had a friend doing one, a French person.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really cool. And it was the only one, I think it was Decompiler, something like that. I think it's this one. Not sure. Yeah. I think it's this one. I'm not fully sure, but it is not very well known. Hang on, let me have a look just to be sure. Do we have the name of the person? Because it was a friend of mine, and of course there's no name. Yeah, so don't install something when you don't know who coded it. Github is here. Because this one was cool. I think it's this one. I was working with a software called Ibris, so it's software from SAP, so it's like horrible, very complicated Java classes. And when you buy it, they don't give you the source code, but as the documentation is not complete, you need the source code to understand some stuff.
Okay.
So we wanted to decompile it for good reasons, and we paid for it. It was the only one which was able to decompile it correctly. So that's why I was happy about it. Let me just have a look at the insights here, contributors. Not a lot of contributors. Yes, it's him. Yeah, so that's him. Emmanuel Dupuis. So he's a former colleague of mine from a previous company, and that's why I know it's him. There's not a lot of activity, but as you can see, 600 stars. So quite a lot of people use it, even if it's a bit
quite
old.
a few people, yeah. So there's none that can handle Scala byte.
I had the best results with this one. Maybe you can try, but the best results I had was with this one. Then there is a decompiler also provided here with IntelliJ, so you can also try it. You know, if I go, if I take any, so I'm going to take a library that I probably did not download. You know, I probably didn't download the source code of this one. So if I go there, it's decompiling it. No, it's automatically taking the source code. This one I probably have. Hang on. Just trying to have it. Yeah, it decompiles this one, and it's working quite well. Of course, if I download the source code, I will have the real source code, but it's working quite well usually with IntelliJ, and then I can download the source code here because I got it. Of course, it's of course better when you have the source code.
Yes, yes.
But this one is quite good. I don't use it that much, but never had any issue with it. So two choices. Okay, well, did I answer your question? Yeah?
I hope so. He says thanks. And then...
Oh, it's
yeah.
Okay, so let's get started. So I started my app, so probably I can access it using my IDE. You remember I selected Spring Security, so
yes.
that's security somewhere. You know, when I arrive, it says please sign in. It's not connected to an Active Directory. So in fact, it auto-generates some security token in memory. If we have a look at the logs here, it says, you know, we've got a random password that was generated. So I can, I think by default it's admin. Not even sure if it's admin. And here's the password, and I can sign it. No, so it's user maybe. Yeah, it's user. And by default, I've got a 404 page, so it says white label error. Oh, it's an error page that they have not even customized. So you've got really nothing, you know. You've got an uncustomized error page, which is
an uncustomized raw error page, more or less.
Yeah. Well, let's get started by creating a controller, by the way. I was going to do it afterwards in the demo, but maybe it's better to do it now, just to see how it works. So I'm going to create a REST controller, so I call it hello. Mm-hmm. It's a REST API, so it's a REST controller.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, I don't even need to do public string hello.
So are we using an API and a front-end model, or are you using a controller like MVC where every call will count the controller?
So yeah, it's a REST controller. So it's basically I'm going to have a request. Let's map it on an endpoint. So
sure.
I'll map it on the /endpoint. So we have no.
Okay.
When you go to the main to the root of the project.
Yep.
Well, it will answer you hello and let's say return.
Perfect.
Hello.
So we say hello world in the normal standard.
Yeah, and that's a hello world. Very simple hello world. And if I compile, so we've got auto reload of the code. So if I reload,
auto reload, I like it. Nice.
Yeah, well, I need to compile. Well, I can automate this even more, but it's quite started. So
Okay.
I've got hello everyone, so it's working. So and I've got an endpoint which is hello everyone.
Would that be
because,
ça va tu in French?
I can put in French. If you want to.
It's coming back to me,
I
you
can
know.
say
The more time I spend with
bonjour,
you, by the end of the
tout le
stream,
monde.
I'll be fluent.
I can say bonjour tout le monde. So hello everyone.
Yeah.
And let's go back here, and we've got bonjour tout le monde. So we're happy. We got a REST
Super
controller.
happy.
It's secured. Well, not secured with Active Directory, but you know we're getting started.
Yes.
So that's good for beginnings.
Yes.
Now, of course, we want to secure it with Active Directory.
Yep.
And for that, I need to add some configuration. Just look at our Java libraries. We've already got Active Directory, which was configured here.
Okay.
Because I selected it when I generated
Yes.
the app. So I think everything is good here. Hang on, let me just check the version, because I remember I forced the version on my...
You need to pin it to a specific version, right? I see.
I'm not sure. I'm just having a look. Oh yeah. I'm not having the same version in my app, so I'm going to pin it. Yeah, I'm downgrading the version. I'm not sure why I did it. We might try with an, you know, we'll try later with a more recent version. I think I downgraded it because we've got an older version of Azure Active Directory the Azure support. You know, the Azure SDK. There's probably some little incompatibilities with the latest version of Spring Boot. Need to check. Hang on, it's not happy. Why isn't it happy? Oh, sorry. Oh, hang on. Oh, sorry. Something's changed. Hang on. Maybe I'm doing something wrong here. Hang on, sorry.
Take your time.
So
Don't stress out. It's all good.
Yeah. Azure Spring Boot. Oh, hang on. Oh, I don't have the same thing. Hang on. Don't have the same thing on my sample project. That's my sample project.
Okay.
You see the group ID has changed. Azure Spring.
Oh, we renamed it?
Oh, hang on. Something is wrong here. Maybe it changed something.
Two different
So I generated exactly the same thing. So 3 days ago, and 3 days ago I had this, and this time I've got this one.
Interesting.
As you can see, it's not the same group ID.
Yes.
But it's kind of the same word. You know, Azure Spring Boot Starter Active Directory and Azure Active Directory Spring Boot Starter.
So
yeah,
if you want to,
this name looks better.
Yeah, if you want to go with the one that works, and you know that it works, let's keep that. Let's comment the other one out.
I'm going to take the one that works because, well, first of all, it works, so that's cool. But also, it's ending by starter, which is with Spring Boot. What they call starters, you can see we've got starter here.
Yes.
We've got starter here. You know, that's the way they call there. So that's what you have with auto configuration on Spring Boot. So on Spring Boot, you can add the starters, and they will auto configure some things in your app. And that name looks, well, it sounds better. So that's why I'm
surprised
that one.
Why this happened?
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised. And Azure Spring Boot Starter. Yeah, okay. Let's do that one. That's the one in the GitHub repo.
Yep.
I need to check. Maybe I misclicked somewhere. It's a bit surprising. So I already had all this before normally, so it's not going to do anything else. If I let me just restart the app just to be sure that I'm getting that correct version of everything. And let's do stop and rerun just to be sure that I have everything with the latest version. Shouldn't change anything. We are still secured in memory.
Right.
And I did that configuration, but didn't. You see, we're still in memory. It didn't kick in Azure Active Directory. For that, I need to do more configuration.
Yes.
In fact, I need to add 4 variables here. So I'm going to show you 3 of them, but not really the 4th one. Because there's a security issue.
We don't want to dox ourselves. So when it's time for you to put the password in there, I will switch to the chat.
No worries. I'm going to cheat, of course.
Yeah. We're gonna copy paste everything. Nice. Okay, so
yeah. I've got a nice trick. I will show the trick afterwards. Let's first have a look at what I'm doing.
Okay.
In order to connect to Active Directory, I need my tenant ID.
Yes.
We'll go to the Active Directory web page afterwards just to have a look. But
sure.
Let's say you need an ID to connect to it. So
yep.
It's logical to select which Active Directory server you want to use.
Exactly.
You need to map the groups that are in Active Directory inside Spring Security. We'll also have a look at this afterwards. This is not very important, but and then the two important things are those ones. I'm giving it my client ID, so that's the ID of my app inside Active Directory.
Yes.
Secret, so that's my password. That's the one I don't want to type because otherwise everybody will hack me. Well, there's not a lot to hack, honestly. It's going to run on my
They
on
will
my
use your
laptop
app to sign in for free or sign up.
and
for
that's
free. Yeah.
and there's only one user. It's me. So good luck with hacking that. I'm not supposed to show unsecure stuff. So that. Oh, by the way, I'm just showing this now because for developing, it's probably the easiest way to do. But there are other ways to configure Spring Boot, and this is probably not the best way to do it.
Oh, I see.
It's the best way for me for hacking around, like I'm doing now.
Okay.
But when I'm going to production, that's probably not a good reason, because when I'm going to commit that to production, it's going to go to GitHub, and in GitHub, everybody will see your secret. And that's probably not a very good idea to put your secret on GitHub.
Exactly.
So that's
Please
usually
do not
bad practice
do
to do it.
Is there a hook to Key Vault or something so you can put all your secrets there? Do you know if Spring Boot works out of the box with Key Vault?
So let me go through at least 4 better options to do it.
Oh, 4 better options. I love it. Okay.
Yes. I will end up with Key Vault because it's probably the best one. The simplest one is you can use environment variables to do this.
Yep.
That's what I will show you afterwards how I'm going to deploy this to Azure, and I'm going to use environment variables.
Yes.
It's more secure. They are stored inside Azure.
Correct.
It's not as secure as Key Vault because more people can read them. But it's and of course, it removes the need to put your configuration data inside GitHub. So that's a good option. A second option, by the way, that's the one maybe I'm going to use now, is, for example, I'm going even to delete that file.
Okay.
So I'm not going to do any mistake. What you can do is also put that file somewhere else in your file system. So
nice.
at the root directory. You can also put it inside your home directory. So if I put it inside my home directory, this one in priority. So for testing, or maybe for production, it's also good because that means that somebody has got access to the file system, put that file there, and then that file gets taken and it's working. When I use Kubernetes, that's what I do with Kubernetes. You can load a secret as a file on the file system.
Correct.
So I've got this configuration file is like a Kubernetes secret. Kubernetes loads it into the file system, and it appears by magic, in the file system when I run my app, and so it's working automatically, and it's secured by Kubernetes, so it's working very well. I'm going to do it manually here. I think everything is in my downloads folder. I'm going to copy. So I got this file here at the root directory of my sample app, and I'm going to deploy it, to copy it to my demo code. So it should appear here. So I'm not clicking on it. It appeared here. I'm not clicking on it because otherwise you will see my password.
Yep.
And that's exactly what Kubernetes could do. And that's very secured, at least if you do that with Kubernetes.
Yes.
Here I should git ignore it, for example, and it will, and it's working very well. So that's my second better option.
Yep.
My third good option is to use something like Azure Spring Cloud. So Azure Spring Cloud, we've got a Spring configuration server. So it's something called Eureka. So a lot of people in the world use Azure Spring. It's a Spring Cloud config server. I'm tired. With Azure Spring Cloud, you've got two things. You've got Eureka, which is a discovery server, and the Spring Cloud config server, which is a configuration server. We want to use the config server to do that, of course. And so that configuration server pushes you basically that file through a REST API, which is secured. So it's another way to do it, which is probably more automated if you use Azure Spring Cloud. And that's the third option, which works very well. And then last option, of course, is to use Key Vault. So with Key Vault, it's highly secured by Key Vault. I'm not going to do the advertisement for Key Vault, but everybody can understand that having a real solution to store your key, manage them, rotate them, and so on is probably much better than copy-pasting files like I'm doing now.
Yep.
So it's probably a better solution. It's a bit more complex to set up because you need to set up Key Vault and give access to Key Vault from Active Directory. So a little bit more complex, but probably the most secure solution.
Indeed.
We've got, we've got many more solutions which are better than what I'm doing right now. But for doing the demo, it's probably the easiest solution. So I added 4 variables. When Spring Boot is going to restart, now it's going to, and so it's going to auto-configure Active Directory using them.
Okay.
So when I restart, it's not happy. Hang on, let me restart completely. Maybe it's the auth reload that failed. Usually auth reload doesn't fail with Spring, but sometimes.
So you deleted the file, but did you add them to your environment already?
Yes. Yeah, it was probably unhappy because I deleted some file.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the issue. And so now when I come back to my app, what's going to happen? Hopefully. Now it's pushing me to Microsoft Online, which is, we're going to have a look just afterwards at my Azure AD configuration, but you can already see that something happened.
Check this out. So by default, before you even access the website, it will prompt you to sign in, right?
Yeah, to sign in. Oh, hang on. Let me do even better. I'm going to use an incognito mode. Where is that? Sorry.
Yes.
So we can see how I do it for real. So I'm going to log in with my Gmail account. So it's like, I'm a Microsoft employee, so I'm not going to cheat by using my Microsoft ID, because maybe people will say that, because I'm from Microsoft, I'm doing something. Here, I'm doing my own personal account. So it's my own Gmail account. So nothing specific about Microsoft here. And it's my own.
Is that an MSA
password.
account? Is that a Microsoft? Is that a Microsoft account? Your Gmail account?
Yes. That's my Microsoft account. Well, my personal OneDrive is on it, for example.
Yes.
That's my password, by the way, to my own account, which I need to remember now.
Password managers, my friend. Password managers.
And and I got, of course, double authentication. So I need to sign in with my phone now.
Yep. Two-factor authentication
my phone
for the win.
Yeah.
Please switch it on if you have two-factor authentication. If your platform supports it, please make sure you switch it on. Not just on the Microsoft Identity platform or Azure, but anywhere. Netflix, Facebook, anything. Twitter, whatever. Please use two-factor authentication.
Exactly. And so I'm
we're signed
logged
in
in
now.
to the moon again. And we're signing in again.
Nice.
Which is cool.
Yes.
Now we can have a look a little bit at what Azure AD provides me, because here, we're just going to a web page. It's not really fun. We can we can do a lot more here. First of all, let's have a look. Hang on. The first thing we can do is Spring Security gave us an object which is called Authentication. And I'm going to get it. So it has got a utility method for this. So security context holder, here it is. And I can get it. So this gives me basically the Spring Security context. Why isn't it happy? Come on. Shouldn't need to cast this. Hang on. Let me look again. Sorry. It's me who's getting tired again. I forgot. This is just getting me the context, and I need to say get authentication. So now I've got basically the Spring object on authentication. Let me just show what we can do with it. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to debug it. So we have a look exactly at what's inside it and what we can do with it. Now, let me just close this, and let me run it again. And so we're going to have a look at everything that Active Directory sends us, and we're going to have a look at what we can do with it. If IntelliJ wants to start. Started or not? It's like hanging around. Yes, it's starting. So let me go back here. And once it's started, we're going to fun debugging this.
So is the starter templates that you get in Spring Boot everything that wires up the middleware to control how you access the app? Because I haven't seen you explicitly saying, before you sign in, before you access any of the pages, you need to sign in. Is that correct? Is Spring Boot doing all the hard work for you?
Oh, yes, it did everything for me. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it did all the wiring for me, so I don't even know any of the things. And it's some default pages for me.
Right.
It auto-configured everything.
Very nice.
With some sensible defaults, which are sometimes too simple, but for what we're doing. Okay.
Yep.
And so now it's providing me like this authentication object. That's it. I've got access to my name, Julien Dubois. So I've got a
your
wall.
principal. Check that out.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I've got access to, if I go over there, I've got even my email address, my family name. Well, lots of stuff. What is interesting, of course, is that I've got some personal information, like my email address or my username, and also I've got my role. And that's what's interesting for me for my app usually. I mean, I'm happy to say, instead of saying bonjour tout le monde, I would rather say bonjour authentication.get principle of. What did I say? Authentication.get name. Yeah, get name is good.
So you get the principal,
so
but it
name.
also allows you to go below that and directly access values within the token.
I'm going to shut down the server.
Yep.
And start again in normal mode because debug mode is slower, so it's not as good for my demo. So now it should tell bonjour Julien normally.
I'm holding my breath.
Come on.
Oh, I dumped the whole thing out there.
Yeah, you dump because before I was putting everything. So this time it's saying bonjour Julien, or I forgot a comma. And of course, I want to not only to have some identity data, I want also to have some authorization data. So I'm going to do something that is not going to work.
Okay.
Because I just want to show some part of Spring Security, which is a little bit more complex.
Okay.
So with Spring Security, you've got this nice secured annotation. Normally, you just add it and you say, okay, if you have this role, you can access it or not.
Oh, I see.
This is very handy. This is what everybody wants to use. So the first trick is.
So we have role-based authorization built into Spring Boot, and it's clever enough to look into the ID token to see whether you belong in a role or not.
Yes.
Oh,
so it's
I love
taking
it.
my role, my group from Azure, from Active Directory.
Yep.
And it's allowing me to access it. If I've got, so the naming convention is role underscore and then your Active Directory group. So I'm in the admin group. Well, we can have a look afterwards of my group. And it should only allow me to access if I'm inside that group. So I'm going to use a group that I'm not in.
So this is slightly hard coded there. Is it possible to pass a constant or a variable there to look at the role?
Oh yes. Also, there are different ways to do it. So you can do, of course, a constant. So that's probably the best way to do it.
Right.
And also you can secure by URL. So there are two ways to secure. You can URL. So it would be in another configuration file where I say everything that is under /API is secured. Or you can also secure here per method. And usually I do both because you can always mess up easily either the API or the method. So I'm doing sure that I have no issue. But that's two ways to do it. I would recommend to do both just to be sure.
Perfect.
And so here I'm going to use a role that I don't have. It's not going to work because that's a trick. And I just want to tell it because everybody is going to have the issue otherwise. Let me reload cleanly just to show that
it breaks because you don't have the role.
And so I shouldn't have access. And as you will see right now,
you get a 403.
I have access, which is not good at all. And that's because there's another option to add. And I just wanted to tell this one because this one is really bad. I mean, basically you need to know it. And if you don't know it, well, good luck.
Okay.
There's a configuration class, which is called enable global method security. And by default, it doesn't, the secure enable thing is false by default. So by default, it doesn't secure your method, and you need to tell to secure your method. I'm guessing they do that for performance. So, people who don't use it don't have the performance overhead of checking the methods.
I see.
That's probably good for, everybody who is not using security. But then I'm expecting like 99% of the people are using security. So that's annoying like 99% of the people, which is pretty bad. But so that's why I just wanted to explain it. No, I will not have access because I don't have that role. So let me go back here.
It's a fantastic role, by the way. I love your naming.
And now, so it's also an error page which is not customized, but it says, you see, access denied exception, status 403. So clearly I don't have the access.
403,
if I
there you
want-
go. That's the expected error message. Love it.
Oh yeah, it's all good after that. It's all
So
good.
it's interesting. Unless you enable that check, even though you added the secure method, it won't check it unless you globally do that. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty well. I don't find it very smart. So that's why I wanted to tell it to everybody, because that's the kind of thing where you.
Is this quite esoteric to Spring? Like, do people need to be very well versed into Spring to be able to understand why it's working or why it's not working?
Well, for this one, usually you don't. It's pretty easy. Spring is very consistent. So usually for somebody who is used to Spring, there's no big effort to learn something like this. All the configuration I'm doing here is like very classical Spring Boot configuration. So if you have configured Spring Boot to do anything, usually it's the same. So after having configured a couple of things, it should be very easy. There's just a few tricks like this one, which is like very annoying. So that's why I wanted to show it. And now if I restart, I've got the admin wall, so it's cool.
Okay, that's good.
But it's a little bit tricky. So just what I wanted to show. So we haven't been to Active Directory yet, but as we can see, I have access to my full user data, like my username, my email. I've got access to my walls, so I can secure everything. And basically I've got everything working. So now we...
So quick question here before we move on to the Azure Active Directory. If I now create another controller with methods that are not secured, or we say security false, as in not secured, will that mean that I can access them without having to sign into Azure Active Directory? Do we have secure and insecure areas in the website?
Yes, if I have another one. Well, I should have put the root here. Let's say if I can have like hello here, which is secured.
Yes.
And I have like hello2 here.
Which is
insecure. Not secured.
Right.
hello2, because it's easier to type. And so this one should not be secured. So now if I restart, I should have, here I will be logged in twice, but I have only a security check on the first one.
So do you still get prompted for authentication?
For hello2, I don't think so. I'm going, let me just show. So first of all, I need to, so now I got an error page on the, because I moved everything to hello. First of all, I need to log out. So we've got specific URL. All of this can be configured, but there's a specific URL to log out. Which is pretty nice because I logged out easily.
Yes.
And now, so if I go to hello, I will be secured. So that's what we did before several times. So let's not do this. And let's try hello2. And I don't, I think it's trying to, No, sorry, it's working. I did not have to log in. So this one is working.
Perfect.
And if I go to hello,
it will prompt
hello,
you for,
I will need to log in normally. I don't know why it's, I'm like not clicking well enough. I don't know why it's not happy. Come on. Oh, no, sorry, I'm not really, sorry, I was logged in automatically.
Oh, you're already signed in because you're...
I got signed in automatically.
So do you need to, so when you sign out, when you go to sign out to the logout endpoint, it doesn't delete your cookies?
Normally, yes, that's why I'm surprised. Maybe, did I click earlier on like remember me, and it's remembering me and it's automatically logging me again? You know what? This is a solution just to quit. This is deleting everything. New incognito window. It's a good way. So let's do hello2.
Yep.
I need to log in. Yeah, it's probably because there's also a login on the /URL. So I will need to reconfigure it.
Okay, but it is configurable. Okay, I was just asking.
Yeah,
no point to get
it's
cool.
Yeah, by default it's probably configuring the wall, / something.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's fully configured. On this, there's like no big deal.
Okay.
And that's pure Spring, so there's nothing about Active Directory. So even if it was an issue, it's on the Spring side. It's not Active Directory, so that's cool.
I got you.
No, but it should be good.
Okay.
I do it very often.
Azure Active Directory portal now?
Yes.
Yes.
So yes, let's have a look at Azure Active Directory. That's the hard part for me. Sorry. Let me go with this. This URL.
So do you have a test tenant? Are you using the Microsoft 365 developer tenant, or are you using the official Microsoft tenant to do these tests?
Tenant. I'm just having a dope with hang on. Let me just hide my screen because I don't want to log you in. not show you because I'm not sure of my bookmark.
Do you have
my
secrets?
I'm on the preview.
Yeah, like we
Microsoft
all are
account,
by
sorry.
default.
Yeah. So I was right. So let me just do something hidden, and I'm coming back right away with okay. And now I've got the good one. So here I've got my own tenant. I called it Spring One because the first time I did that demo was at a conference called Spring One. But that's my own tenant. If I click here, you can see it's my own tenant. It's this one. And so that's all for me. That's the official Microsoft one. That's another of my tenants. I've got two for me and the official Microsoft one. And if I go there, I've got Active Directory. And we can check. So this is a tenant ID that we had to configure earlier. We can have a look at the users. So there should be one user. It's me. As it was this one. We can probably see that I logged in sign-ins. We can probably see the sign-in I just did. So I had a success at like 10 minutes ago. So that was me, or just when we did the demo. You can even see my IP address, and I'm indeed in Paris. So that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember we could see my name and so on. So everything's here, of course.
Yeah.
And I had a group which was admin. So if I go to where is it? If I go to group, there will be admin here. And it's assigned to me. One user is here. So that's me, basically. And you can see that. So I'm this person.
Yeah.
And this one is connected, of course, to my Microsoft account. So that's why I can log in with it. And I can get the groups that was configured here. So now it's all for I would say Active Directory people to manage this and maybe force for example we can force the type of authentication. We can say we require people to authenticate with two-factor authentication.
Yep.
Sorry, I forgot. Also, you need to configure your app for this. So for this, you need to go to app registrations.
Yep.
And your app should be there. So I've got two apps. So this is my localhost one, and this is the one in the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same configuration, basically.
You know that you don't have to change between the two, right? You can use the same app registration for both local and production. Although it's nice to separate them sometimes. You can have multiple redirect URIs for the same app.
That's interesting.
So if you go into authentication, right?
Yeah.
Then you can see you can add multiple redirect URIs, and as long as they're all HTTPS, it's going to work for you absolutely fine.
Can we do? Can we try this live? Because as you can see, I tried to do it here, and I failed. So this one works. That's what we've been doing several times.
Okay.
This one is my production. I can already tell you the production fails. So this is going to be fun.
Okay.
Look at my app deployed on Azure, how I deployed it and how I configured it. And then, let's try to make this work.
Sure.
Let's not take the thing that is already working.
Correct. Let's not break the one that's working.
Yeah. Let's break stuff and let's have fun. Let me just have a look if everything is correct again. Do we have time?
We have plenty of time. We got another hour. If you want to take a break, maybe to stretch your legs and get some refreshments, then we can stop because we're just at the top of the hour now. So that would be a good time to have a quick break.
I'm good unless you want
good.
To take a break.
Okay. In that case, let's pile on, my friend. I am good as well.
Okay. Well then, so I've got several fun stuff to show then. And we're going to break stuff and try to fix it. And if we can, it's cool. If we can't, then we shouldn't have tried. If you go to my repo, hang on, where's my repo? Here is my repo. If you go to my repo, you can see that I've already created a Terraform script for my app. And that Terraform
you're using Terraform, I see. Nice.
Yes. So this one is pretty complete. Hang on, let me go.
Is Terraform working better with, say, Spring Boot and Azure, or do you choose it just because you feel more comfortable with that?
Oh, because I feel more comfortable with it.
Okay.
I have a lot of Terraform scripts that are already done. I use a lot of Terraform, so That's and I will release very soon some open source code on this, and I'm spending a lot of time on this.
Nice.
So yeah. If you want to have a look at what I'm doing and use my Terraform script, please do. It will be much easier soon. It will. There will be more very soon.
Yeah, we would love to share. We'll share the link to the stream. And the GitHub repo on our YouTube video. So once this goes live on YouTube, then you can capture all the information from there.
Oh yeah, so then I will share it in a couple of weeks. So basically, my Terraform script does two things. It creates two things. It creates an app service plan. So it's the type of app I'm using.
Yep.
Of course, I'm using Linux. It's a standard plan, so something very classical. And it's creating an app service instance with Java.
Yep.
Which is cool. And then here I can add. So I haven't done it on GitHub because again, there would be a security issue, but depending on the way I use it. But here I can add more environment variables, and that's where I can add my configuration properties that we had before. You know, the application.properties file. It can be done here also.
So if you want to know how to do that, I have a Terraform script that hooks up to Key Vault, and then it uses a service principal to pull that information during the deployment. So you don't have to disclose that sensitive information in your Terraform, but when you run it, it will go and pull these properties for you.
It's exactly where I'm going to with some other stuff. So yeah, very interesting. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Technically no secrets, right? We want to have secretless apps and secretless deployments and secretless production solutions. That's the whole point.
Exactly. Then my issue is that I need to have something a bit simple for doing my demo. So.
Sure, I am just...
And so if I go to my app now, sorry, my app is here. Let me go to my app. So this Terraform script created the plan. So we don't really care about the plan for what we're doing, and especially the most important thing is the app. And in the app, in the configuration part, I created 4 variables. So I had the tenant ID that we had before. So this one is good, of course.
Right.
The user group that we had before. A client ID and a client secret. And those are the ones I'm going to change because let's try to do what you said. Let's try to configure this. That's fine with you. Is it okay with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Hang on. Let me just move this around. And so for this, I need to create a new secret. Hang on. No, the client ID is here. Where's the client? This is my client. My client ID is here. So I'm going to. So I copied it. Client ID is here. I'm going to edit it. So I'm going to use this one. Okay. And then my secret is here. I'm going to edit it. So I'm going to hide when I edit it because otherwise we'll get into trouble again.
Yes.
And
I can hide it if you want to, right? If you want to add something secret, I can hide it, or you can take it on the other screen. That also works.
Yeah, but I can just do it on the other screen. It's not very... I'm guessing you trust that I will copy paste it correctly.
True.
And I need to create a new secret. So here it is. So
yeah, do it off screen.
Say, prod. I said never. And
no, don't say never. Only 1 year, please. It's good. It's good to have these things expire. Yeah, we recommend that we never do never because secrets should be expiring and rolled out or rolled over.
I clicked on add, and I'm going to paste to copy paste that secret.
Sure.
To my variable. So that's hidden.
We're avoiding doxing this morning.
And so it has been pasted here normally.
Yes.
And so now I can save everything.
Perfect.
Continue. So that should be all good. And then, well, do we deploy? Or what do we do? Well, let's keep the app I've already deployed. It's the same one that we have.
It's the same exact that we have. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, maybe I misstepped something, but it's basically what we have coded. So
we'll take your word for it.
Yeah, we're probably not getting a lot by redeploying what we just coded. Because we've already got a running app.
Yep.
Let's not waste time and use it. So my running app is here. And if I go there, so this I remember fails. So
Okay.
I need to log in. Same thing. I mean, it's the same thing that we coded locally.
Yes.
And now when I deploy, I've got the same thing. But yeah, I got sorry, we're having trouble signing you in. And the reply URL specified in the request does not match the reply URL.
That is correct. So in your app registration, your reply URL needs to match exactly what your app is expecting or where your app is running. So either there's a misconfiguration somewhere, or so go back into your authentication.
Oh, yeah, this wouldn't be correct.
Yeah, so there's something wrong here in your URL.
Interesting.
So you have the base, right? You have the root of your website, and then you have the login OAuth to code Azure. Is that correct?
Well, for localhost it works, so it should be the same thing. Yeah.
But is the URL correct for the app service?
And the URL. Well, let's have a look. It should be this. I'm going to copy it.
Uh-huh.
So this should be correct. I copy pasted everything, so I'm guessing it's correct. I can't save it, so yeah, it's the same thing.
So it's exactly the right thing, right? And in
so.
your app configuration in your Azure, are you sure you're using the right app registration? So if you go into the overview, there should be an app ID or a client ID. Is that matching? I would say grab
app
the
ID?
The application ID or client ID, which is the second. I would copy
this,
that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can we confirm that this is the right one in your app service environment variable?
Let's have a look here, because I'm pretty sure I copy pasted it, but let's have a look.
It could be a small space, a small typo. So not the tenant, but it should be your client ID. Yeah, that one.
Let me paste it just to be sure. It's the same.
It's the same?
Yeah, I just copy pasted it.
Okay.
And the tenant, maybe the tenant is not good. 6
I will be surprised, but check the tenant.
It's the same.
It's the same?
Yeah, it's the same.
Okay, so it's definitely in the authentication settings somewhere. So something is not right there. Are we 100% sure that this is the correct redirect URI? Do you need to have a / in the end, maybe? For your redirect URI?
No, I'm wondering if I put the right values here.
Oh, you mean for the client secret? So tenant. So you need three things.
This is so long.
Yeah.
This is so long. It's very easy. That's one of the issues here with that type of configuration, is that here I need to type the environment variable correctly, and it's so easy to mistype something.
Okay.
So maybe I got something mistyped here, and it's impossible to know.
So the reason why you're getting that is because it tries to authenticate correctly. So you authenticate correctly. You go to Azure AD. You go to your tenant. And then what it tries to do is return the token back to you. But it says, wait a minute, the thing I have configured in my Azure AD app registration does not match the destination I have to go to, right? Okay. So the mismatch is there. So it's not going to be in the tenant ID. The reason why I ask you if you're pointing to the right client
it's one of those
ID.
two ones.
Yes.
Yeah, it's either the security or security, one of those two ones.
So
or maybe I mistyped something.
Well, these ones work okay because you can get to Azure AD, right? The going to Azure AD works correctly, so it knows where to go and knows which app to look at. The question is, what happens? It's the redirect URI. So I wonder if we're missing something there. Like, how is the local? Show me again the local, the one that works on local. What is the URL, the redirect URI there?
Oh, sorry, on local, yeah.
For the one that's working on the local.
So here it is. Sorry, where is it?
Authentication.
Oh yeah, here it is. Localhost.
Are we using the same exact app registration for both? Local and...
Yeah, for this I just copy pasted it, so yeah.
Okay, so there you have login OAuth to code Azure, and they have
and login OAuth to code Azure is the same thing.
Is there anything else in the root that could be different after the .NET, the Azure websites.net? Is there anything else in the path that could be getting in the way?
On this?
Can you zoom in a little bit because it's too little and I can't see.
Where? Here?
On your app on your app registration inside Azure AD.
Here? Yeah.
Do like 2 or 3 zooms so I can see.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but
it's fine.
it used to work. Hang on.
Control plus, Control plus.
Yeah, let's do it like this. I was trying to use
the mouse.
The mouse, but it's not working.
Well, that's a lot, but it's fine. So I'm just looking there. HTTPS login. I wonder if there's a mistype somewhere. OAuth to code Azure. That's so interesting. Code Azure. Is there a space or anything in the end over there that could be messing up with your, like at the end? Do you have a space?
No.
Check the app ID on that error screen. That's a good point. Can you go back to the error message?
Yes, this one.
On your, let me see. What is the,
sorry, no, it's working. Sorry. Is it bigger for you now?
Yeah, it's good. So is the application D53B0. Grab that. So on the message.
Yeah.
Grab that. Yeah. Grab that app registration. Sorry. Grab that. That one.
And what do I do with it?
Just go into Azure AD. Back in the portal.
Yeah. Oh.
And so you need to zoom out a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, Texan Space Agency. Are you in Texas? Very close to the Space Agency. Now go back into... see, you're using the wrong app registration. That's why it's wrong, right? If you go there, see the one that says application ID D53, which is the second one? Spring Boot and Active Directory. So that's why it's not working.
Yes, that was the other one.
Yep. You're using
do I need to delete it?
No, you can just reconfigure that one to work fine. Yeah, so if you click on that, just add the redirect URI and you're good to go. Or you can change the application client ID on your...
Yeah, because it's not the same secret.
Correct. So I would say go back to your previous one in the...
Hang on. I have duped. We modified the properties, but for me, when you modify them, it will restart the server. But maybe it didn't restart the server.
Yes.
Maybe it's as stupid as this. Hang on. If it's that, it's really stupid. But no, for me, when you modify properties, it will start the servers automatically. But I mean, here we are with my old configuration, and we change the configuration so that doesn't look correct. But then it's very weird. Why didn't it? Okay.
It's a hit and miss with the settings, right? Sometimes.
We updated the setting. Normally it restarts everything, but I mean, we are with the old configuration, so maybe it didn't restart the app. I don't know, or maybe it did. Yeah. I clicked on save. Yeah, everything should be good. Let me try again. I think it's restarted now.
Mm-hmm.
Where's my app? Hang on. Oof. Again, hang on. I need to do that again in another screen.
Okay.
I keep, being logged out. I needed to log in, and each time I'm going to show private stuff. That's very annoying. Here it is. So here is my app. So it should be reloaded now because we took like 10 seconds. Yes, it's waiting, so it's probably being reloaded. Come on.
Yeah, it takes time when you restart the app service. It takes a little bit of time, and you have to hold your breath. It's like restarting IIS when you fix something in like back in the good old days of .NET and Windows and IIS. I remember deploying something to production and restarting IIS to get the settings in place, and then holding your breath for like 40 seconds before it happened. And you're closing your eyes and you're crossing your fingers, hoping that it will work.
Okay. At least we got some drama for the show. It's good.
Yeah, we need some drama, right? Because everything else has been working fine up until now.
Yeah, it was working too fine. Hang on. It's not still the same issue, but not the same application ID.
Correct.
So indeed, we did something. So
Specify there's no master reply URL. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So we indeed changed something because we had the other application, and now it's a good one.
Okay, so it's the right one, but why is it?
We didn't do that for nothing. Yeah, now it's the right one. Now it's this one.
Okay.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, I mean, that's better.
It is better. So we know we're using the right one. So the question is, if you go back to authentication.
Where?
Where you are in the Azure AD portal.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
So we know that the reply URL should match. Now, what are we missing there? What is the authentication?
Maybe this one is not correct for...
Yeah. Can you double check that to make sure that this is the right URL?
I don't know. Put it here and have a look at what's going on. Oh, that's interesting.
So is that the site that is running right now? Is this where we've deployed things?
Yeah. So the app is indeed running.
The reply URL specified does not match the reply URL. So I think this is a Java thing right now.
Yeah. Maybe I've got an issue here on the Java side. I don't know what I have. Don't get it. It was working locally, and it was working before I changed all the settings.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I wonder. So you say it was working before you changed the settings?
Yeah, but no, we messed up everything.
So it was. So the easy way to
maybe
fix
you've got some
that
stack trace
is you can use the Azure Configuration service. Oh, clear the cache. That's a good point. Can you clear the cache?
No. I've got a stack trace here.
Okay.
And we didn't have a stack trace before.
What does it say now? I can't see there.
Invalid instrumentation key. Oh no, that's where do I have an instrumentation key here? That's the telemetry.
Oh, is that the App Insights?
No, I didn't configure App Insights. So that's telemetry from Active Directory. I think inside our Java SDK, we've got some telemetry data that we send back to Azure, which I haven't configured. So by default, it's probably sending some data.
Okay.
I didn't opt out, but even though it's sending some errors, so maybe there's a bug in our telemetry. And it was working locally, and it's not working when we deploy it, which is super strange. Because locally, I didn't have that issue. I didn't have those errors.
Yep. So if you go into the overview of your website, can we make sure that the URL is correct? At the very top, there should be an overview.
Yeah, this one, yeah.
Yes.
What do you want me to do? Do you want me to click on this?
Yeah, I want to make sure that what you have there, or copy that one and go back to the app registration to make sure that it is correct.
Yeah.
Or that they match.
Yeah,
you can add a new one before you wipe this one. Just add a new one so we can compare them side by side.
I can put something else, but of course that URL is probably.
It seems to be the same.
Yeah.
And are we certain that this is the correct endpoint for the?
That's a good question, because that works for localhost. I just copy pasted it from localhost because
I see.
But I have no idea if it's. I mean, it's working on localhost, so it's probably correct. But
so you said it was working before, right?
Yeah.
One way to see what's changed between the last one and this one is to go into Azure Configuration Service and check for this resource. It will tell you what environmental variables changed and why it may have broken.
Oh, where is that?
So just search at the very top. That's the blue.
Yeah.
No, where is the search button? Yeah, Configuration Services.
Configuration Services.
Azure.
It's interesting.
App configuration, I think it is. Can you check that one?
Where? Oh, app configuration?
click on
It's
that.
all empty.
Oh, it takes you there. Okay. That's not the one we wanted. Let me find it.
Oh, are you sure I need to do this on the Active Directory?
No, not on the Active Directory. It should be on the portal.
Otherwise, I have no
Or is
idea what we...
Change analysis? Can't remember. Is it change analysis? Look for change analysis. Azure. No, not in the Azure AD. You need to be in the Azure portal, right?
Okay. Change analysis.
I think you're still... Yeah, change... Azure change analysis, that's the one. Yeah.
I have never seen that before. Oh. I am going to see everything I did.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you can take it on the side and see what's changed in your app. So you can do...
people can...
Yeah.
People can see that I played with Cosmos DB before, so that's cool. That's all we can see, by the way. I changed my Cosmos DB quota. That's what I mean. Something else. That's what I just did before.
I think you can click on the details. It will tell you what's changed.
Where do you see
so
details?
Well, you need to find the right resource first, right?
Yeah, but I'm not seeing anything on my app here.
You're not? That's interesting.
No, there's nothing. Like, we didn't change anything. That's weird because we did change some configuration.
Well, try to... Do you know which resource group it is? If you go to... Yeah, so up there you can select the resource group at the filters. No. Scroll right next to the text box that you typed 45. Yeah, there's resource group. You can filter to that resource group and say, I want to look into that resource group.
Yeah, is it this one?
Yeah.
Like nothing happened. I'm pretty sure we did some stuff.
Yes, we did do some stuff. Oh, are you in the right subscription as well? Yeah, it should be. I mean, if you find
you couldn't see it otherwise.
Why? So go back to the app registration. Now I'm super confused. We should be able to see that.
Go back to the app registration.
Right. For your
sorry.
For your app services, you need to enable that. That's why we can't see it. The changes are not tracked because it's not enabled.
Okay.
Okay,
so that's okay. So that's logical.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here in the Azure Web App, we should there's definitely a misconfiguration between your app registration and the Azure Web App. That redirect URI is not right. The question is Spring Boot expecting a different URL on the return back, and why was it working before and it's not working now? So the tenant ID is correct. We know that the app.
Maybe those are not correct.
The client ID is correct. The client secret is correct. It's just the redirect URI that is not working.
Hang on. I'm going to test those environment variables locally. Yeah.
Sure.
Because I'm going to do the same thing locally. I'm going to delete my my configuration file here, and I'm going to to do the same configuration here with application with the environment variables. Exactly the same thing.
Okay.
So if it works locally, then we have an issue.
Sure.
If it otherwise, so I'm going to copy paste everything. So copy paste this one, the tenant ID, value. Okay.
But I'm surprised because it was working before. That's the odd thing, right?
Maybe we don't know. We messed up something. We need to watch the video again. Maybe we clicked too fast on something and we worked on something. Client ID. Maybe one of those, variables is not correct. I'm starting to have a doubt here because that's the only thing that could be wrong. I'm just going to copy paste the secretly. Yep.
Go and do that.
And I'm doing the same thing on the other screen. if I can. If it lets me do it. Secret.
It's a secret.
Secret is a secret. And that should be good. That should be good. So locally, I got everything. I know everyone saw my secret.
It's not the whole thing, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And
anyway,
even if it is,
doing,
you can delete it after the stream, right? And you create it, so it should be okay.
Anyway, I'm not going to keep this, so it's not very important. So now I'm going to run it.
Okay.
With the same variables.
Yes.
So now we exactly the same stuff as in production, but locally. So we'll see if the difference is between the production environment or the local environment, or if it's environment variables which are wrong for whatever weird reason. Because I really don't understand why.
Hey, it wouldn't be a live stream if we didn't have this kind of challenges.
Yeah, it's fun. Otherwise, everything was too easy. So
yeah. Also, it's not scripted, so people can see that we haven't scripted our failures.
Yeah, and that's complicated.
Okay, so we're logging in.
Oh, it's working. This is crazy.
So, it's not working. You got
no, that's normal because you remember I removed the hello world, so that's normal. So it's
you
working
removed the
locally.
hello world.
So
okay,
I copy pasted. So okay, so everything is correct.
Okay.
Which is I don't know if it's a good or bad.
Well, the only thing different now is your redirect URI. Right. So that is the only thing that we need to focus on.
And I'm going to clean it. So just to be sure that everything is deleted.
Yeah.
Because I just want to be really, really sure. So with Maven, you can clean it and it destroys everything. It's probably working fine with what I did, but I just want to be 100% sure because that guarantees that our environment variables were pasted them.
Yeah, but Bolt is saying that we haven't deployed this same app, by the way. So we may have to push this app to Azure.
Oh, yeah, maybe we can push it. Oh, yeah, it's also interesting to do because I haven't showed how I was pushing this to Azure.
There you go.
Which is interesting.
Bolt is coming with all the punches. Fine, Bolt, we'll deploy the app. It's fine.
It's working. So, yeah, let's deploy the app. Well, if everybody has got some time, let's have a look at how I deploy this because honestly, it should be fun. So we created the app Terraform. And now I want to deploy it with Terraform. There are several ways to do it. So there is like an IDE plugin. You've got a Maven plugin also if you want to do that.
Right.
They all work, but honestly, from an ops perspective, it's not really good that a developer uses a Maven plugin to deploy. That's you should deploy using CI/CD. So here what I did in the GitHub repo, which is where did I put the GitHub repo? I lost the GitHub repo, of course. Hang on. Let me just hide it again because I don't want to show all my GitHub repos. Let me show the GitHub repo. Here it is. So here is my GitHub repo. Oops. Got too many apps now. Too many stuff. Hang on. Let me put all those together. Let me group them. So in that GitHub repo, I've created a GitHub Action, which is here. And that's how I deploy with that GitHub Action. And what that GitHub Action does, it check out my code, set up the JDK, adds some cache from Maven, runs Maven, so it packages my app. It uploads it to temporarily inside GitHub as a GitHub package. And then it deploys it. So it takes back the package that was just generated before. And it logs inside Azure. And it uses that Azure... that GitHub Action to deploy my application to Azure. So this one is automatically deployed each time I git push on the main branch. So that's very handy if you want to deploy your app. Let me configure CI/CD on this for this. So first of all, I need to share the project on GitHub. So I'm not going to call it Git demo because, come on. Well, let's keep demo, and I will destroy it later. So I remember I need to destroy it because that's not the real one. So let me push this to GitHub. Yeah, I want to push. Hang on. Do I have anything secret? No, we removed everything, so everything is good. So let me push that to GitHub. And I need to authorize my app on GitHub. So for this, let me just show. I created inside Terraform. I had this script to authorize my app. Let me just show my script. What my script is doing is that it's getting my subscription ID, it's creating a service principal, and it's adding it as a secret to GitHub Actions. So after that, GitHub Actions has got the control on, well, has got a service principal. So GitHub Actions can deploy stuff, create stuff, or anything on Azure. So that's very handy when you do that, because once you've done this, your GitHub Actions can run Terraform script, deploy stuff, and do everything on your behalf. And that means that now when I deploy, I do not deploy through my IDE or a Maven plugin. I deploy through a CI/CD system, which is, let's say, far more professional. So let me just copy those to my app. So it was called Authorize GitHub Action, and I'm going to copy it to my demo app. And I also want to copy my GitHub Action to my demo. Yeah, should be all good. And so if I go to my demo, now I can authorize GitHub Actions. So this creates a service principal and uploads it into my Git.
Wow.
And then I just need to git push my app,
Yes.
and it would deploy it automatically.
Very
And
nice.
it should replace the previous app that we had.
I like how it does the service principal creation automatically for you.
Yeah, that's pretty well. For this, you need the GitHub CLI to be authenticated. But it's once you've got the AZ CLI and the GitHub CLI connected, it's very handy, because it's very easy to give power to GitHub Actions.
So this one actually creates a service principal and adds it to your GitHub Action, so to your GitHub repo variables. Is that what it's doing?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. If I go to my if I go to my demo repo, because that's the one we are working on now.
Yes.
I didn't have. Well, we just created it, so of course we had no secrets.
Yep.
And well, it just created it. I updated now, so that's my script.
Very nice.
So the service principal, it's done.
Yep.
And now if I do git add everything, git add commit YOLO.
Do it in production.
Yeah, that's how I go to production,
Yes.
This is going to trigger my GitHub Action.
Very nice.
Here it is. And my GitHub Action is going to build my Java app, and then it's going to deploy it using the service principal. So she's going to deploy my app automatically.
Yep.
So now I just need to git push, and my app is always live in production. Well, maybe you shouldn't do this on your main branch. Or
No, and you should probably have some quality gates. There should be a PR that is set up to check the code changes and what have you. But if you are testing, rather than doing right-click deploy, right, it's a fantastic way to push stuff to production and have continuous integration.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Please do not include your secrets there. That's very important, right? Do not. That's why we say having secrets in your code or config files is bad, because if you set something like this, it will always push up to Azure, and then you don't want to expose that information.
Of course not. The first build is a bit slow because Maven is downloading all these dependencies, but next time it's very, very fast.
Does it cache it? Does it cache everything into the agent? Is that what it's doing?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if we go to, let me just show the GitHub Action. I've got a specific GitHub Action step to cache my Maven dependencies. So the first time it does not slow, but then it's very, very. You just need to git push.
Yep.
That's also something I'm working on. Everything I'm showing here is so
work
you can
in
copy
progress.
paste, and it's working. But I'm going to have to, let's say, package it and make it a lot easier to use for everyone.
So that will be like an Azure Web App deployment for Java, kind of an add-on, or
why just for Java for everything?
Right. Okay.
Because I don't have anything specific for Java, basically. So I could also deploy, what is different between Java, Node.js, Docker, and everything is a build phase. It's not very different, but if you want to build with Docker, you've got another line A, or if you want to build with .NET, it's also another line. But after that, it's just deployed to Azure Web Apps, and Azure Web Apps does everything. So it's not very long language specific. And even what we do here is not very specific to Spring Boot, in fact.
Mhm.
You know, like Terraform and Github Actions, they're pretty generic. There's,
Correct.
you know, some little tuning to do for your app, and that's what I want to improve, because those can all be automated, because there isn't so many different options depending on what you do.
Yes.
But once you got that, it's very handy.
Mhm.
And so I'm deployed. I'm just going to click here on the deploy button just to be sure
Dun, dun,
it
dun.
deployed. So it deployed here. So, you know, I'm clicking here. I'm not taking any risk. You know, I'm clicking here, so I'm sure the URL is correct.
Yes.
Sign into your account, and it's failing again with the same error code. So at least we are consistent in the errors.
And that means that the URL that is supposed to come back. Can you
That's
grab
right.
that? You know, can you grab
Yeah,
the whole
URL
URL?
is not correct.
Yeah, I think this is.
This one is incorrect.
Yeah, this is not. I mean, this is probably correct, but I don't know if the Spring Boot is injecting anything in the path to make it different in Azure Web Apps, because we know it's
Why
working
would-
locally, right?
Yeah, why would it work? I mean, the same URL locally and globally. So why would the
So
URL
if you go
change?
back into your error message that we got in the sign-in page,
Yeah.
if you go to the URL path, grab that whole thing so we can see what's there.
What do you call the URL path?
You know, the address bar. Just grab that whole text, copy paste that whole thing, and put it.
Which one? This one?
I can't see because your screen is mangled now. I don't know why.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where do you want me to put it in the chat?
No, actually put into maybe OneNote or something, so we can not OneNote, Notepad, so we can look at what's there. I suspect that there must be some misconfiguration somewhere. I don't know why your screen is all messed up. Must be the connection to OBS Ninja. Methinks.
Yeah, because of course locally it's working fine.
Maybe it works on my machine. I agree.
It's probably my kids' fault. They're probably watching Paw Patrol on Netflix, because it's the evening in France. So
Yeah.
you know, when everybody watch Paw Patrol, usually your connection
Okay,
goes down.
we're back now. So if you we're back. Okay. So what I want you to do is grab all the text in the URL. You know, the login.microsoft.com, grab the whole thing and put it into...
Yeah, this thing?
No. Yeah, let me see. No. Further up. There you go, that thing. Grab that and put it into OneNote.
Okay, well, and do yeah. Oh, sorry. No, it's my screen, which is... Come on. Oh,
So it doesn't work on your machine.
that's the end of the day. It's incredible. I cannot click on some parts of my screen. I have never seen that before. Okay, so the bottom left corner of my screen is unreachable,
Oh, wow.
which is like totally crazy.
Time to get a new machine. Oh, it's an issue with
Yeah.
OBS Ninja.
Ah,
Well, yeah, OBS Ninja is a problem. Sometimes.
I'm copying everything,
Yeah.
and I will send it to you.
No,
will
I
have a
don't
look.
want that. Remember, I told you I just need the URL, and just put it onto OneNote or Notepad, so we can actually open it up and see what it says in the URL.
You want to do it right now or I can do it on the chat.
No, don't put it on the chat. Just open Notepad and paste the what's on the path.
Okay, hang on. Let's do OneNote then.
Now, OneNote, whatever works for you, whichever text editor you prefer to use. We just need some clean text editor there to work with.
If OneNote wants to start up.
I see. Thank you, One Bad Alien, for the advice. I will make sure that the next time it happens, I'll bring OBS Ninja at the forefront. Right? Are you up on
and see,
Notepad?
OneNote is still starting up, which is like crazy.
Just use Notepad then. It doesn't have to be OneNote. I say OneNote because it's force of habit. I use that for everything.
Yeah, but how do I share Notepad with you?
You don't have to share it. Just put it on the screen and we'll analyze it on the
Okay.
screen.
Sorry, I'm on Mac. I don't have OneNote. Hang on.
Oh, you know, so
No, not it's opening.
whatever. Do you not have text edit
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
on?
Yeah, I got it's opening.
Yeah.
It's crazy slow. Everything is so slow. Hang on, you know what? I'm going to use Visual Studio Code.
Or Visual Studio Code. Just open the file.
Yeah, Visual Studio Code is opening right now on the other screen. Yeah, I don't know why.
Hey, we love people using whatever hardware they want. It doesn't matter if it's a Mac or a Linux or a Windows machine. And
So-
just because we're Microsoft doesn't mean that we don't love other operating systems. Have you seen WSL recently? Okay, so the very top URL. Let's try to see. So it says CTX. Try to put the line breaks after the reprocess. Put a line break there. Okay, and then
And I'm going,
this should be go all the way to. There must be another parameter in the path.
oh yeah, I've got session ID.
Session ID, and then is that it? Oh,
Yeah,
God,
well,
it
that's
doesn't include the redirect URI there. Huh, that is
Yeah, that's all I got.
super weird. I would have expected that the redirect URI was in there. It's not.
Mm.
So that's
The reply you receive does not match the reply. Yeah. Maybe I found a bug in Active Directory, you know?
It's interesting because I suspect that there is a mismatch between. I wonder if Spring is changing the path in any way. Is there any way to validate that? Like which path gets returned?
Yeah, hang on. Let me just, sorry, it's, what can I type? It's like Spring Boot, security, auth.
Like I wonder if because it's running
Azure.
on Azure, it has a different
Directory.
URI.
Yeah, maybe there's something. That's why I'm having a. I'm having a dope there, you know.
Mhm.
I'm not the only one. Yeah, it's doing exactly like me.
Okay.
Like me. Oh. Okay. Yeah, it's exactly like me.
Okay. And what is the solution? Is there a solution down there?
I hope there's one. Oh. That's really. What the hell is that? After adding server forward straight native, it works.
Oh, it says is that the
I
redirect
have
URI?
no idea what this thing is.
Maybe another answer somewhere on Stack Overflow. But it seems that we're not the only ones encountering this issue.
Yeah, and so those persons are adding this word parameter. What the hell is that? Is that the redirect URI is always started with HTTP? I mean, let's trust them and try and let's see if it's a good idea or not.
Yep.
Where's my app? Should have it somewhere.
That's Azure Active Directory.
Yeah. I've got so many stuff open. So let me close a few of them now.
Sure. Go ahead. Close the things.
Up. And let me go back here. Sorry again. I keep getting forwarded to the main Azure portal. I bookmarked everything, but I don't know. They still want me to come back to the Azure portal. Here it is. App. Okay. And if we go to configuration. So we still got our configuration. Let's add a new one with what they said was the solution. So server forward, either straight. Couldn't we have something easier to write? Of course, we've got something. So
that's in the application
server
properties, right? Okay.
Server underscore forward underscore headers. Oops, headers. underscore strategy. I'm slow because I don't want to
Just type it. No.
Forward header strategy native. I have never seen that parameter before. That would be so weird.
There's always a first time for everything, right?
And you know what? Those people that have been following that tutorial, I'm pretty sure it's something that I have written or some friends of mine have written. So that's why they got the issue. They're doing the same thing as me. Yeah. This is not exactly the same thing as what I've done, but it's very close. Okay, well. So normally it has restarted the app.
Yes, let's restart it anyway, just in case.
Yeah, let's be a bit violent. And if it works, well, we'll be happy to have found the issue, but then I have no idea why, and we'll need to check that option. I don't know what happened. Okay, sign in. I'm surprised it's already restarted. No, it probably doesn't restart it yet. I'm with the old app here. Going to the log stream. Come on. I'm using a standard machine, which is, I mean, largely powerful enough for Hello World, but still. Okay, it is restarting, I think. What's the time? 43, yes, it's now. Come on.
We got plenty of time. 16 minutes to make it happen.
It's doable.
It's always doable.
Yeah, it is restarting fully. Ah, same issue. So it either did not restart yet, or that parameter is
It's not
wrong.
right.
Or I typed it incorrectly, which is also possible. Oh, it's starting now. Sorry.
Oh, it hasn't started
It
yet.
didn't restart yet. No.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it is restarting now. Maybe, I don't know. If that's some issue or something.
I see.
It is starting right now. It is a bit slow to start. I don't know why. Usually it takes like 4 or 5 seconds. And yeah, 12 seconds. It's the demo gods are not with us today, honestly.
It's fine. We had much worse than that. So trust me, we're doing good.
Yeah, I mean, everything was correct, except some very weird configuration stuff. Oh, yeah. No. Okay, now it's starting. Yeah, 44 seconds. That's not normal. It is so slow. Something like this on app service should start in, 4 seconds. Oh, I don't know. We are being unlucky today. Come on, sign into your account. Oh, it's working. So, fixed.
So we found the problem. It's a configuration issue, right? And I think it was to do with the fact that it went to HTTP rather than HTTPS, which is super weird.
So we found the issue. So here is the issue. I don't know why I didn't have it before, because that's weird.
Yes.
Like those people, like the people who wrote that documentation, they clearly didn't have the issue. And that's...
How recent is this one? It's from last year, right?
That's
so
what I'm looking for.
February 20th.
1 month ago. So it's like it's not a recent issue. Then some people have it, some people don't. So it's like depending on how you create your Active Directory authentication method, maybe. I don't know. So it works.
So they're using Spring Boot 2.2, which I don't know how far out. Is that
which is pretty low. It's pretty old. We're on latest version is 2.4, and we're using it 2.3.
Okay.
It's more than 1 year old. Yeah. So it's extremely weird.
If you ping me that, if you add that URL into the chat, then I can grab it and I can paste it into the YouTube video. So as people go over the stream, they can see why and how we fixed it, right? It's just extremely weird.
It is extremely strange. So there's like, I'm putting it in the chat for you, and
it would be interesting to confirm whether that's a consistent issue, right?
Yeah, because it looks like exactly like the people who did the tutorials. It's like some people have it, some people don't. So there's something very strange here. Maybe it's because we had two. You remember we had two
URLs.
redirect URL, one which is HTTP, one which HTTPS. That's a bit what that person is saying. You know.
No, it shouldn't make any difference. You can have like 10 of them. It will not try to default to the first one it finds. So I am not sure why it's happening.
Yeah. It is so strong. Well, I will have a closer look at this, and I will. Oh, also I will update. So the real code is here. I will update this one. I need to test also if it doesn't break locally, because maybe now it's locally that it's not working.
I would be surprised, because that's only something that you added to the Azure Web App, right? It's not something that you added into the code.
Yeah.
So I suspect that has something to do with the Azure environment, or the Azure Web App environment, that it was trying to redirect to either HTTP, based on what I saw there on Stack Overflow, or something else. But again, I find it extremely weird that we came across this issue. But it's good that we were able to resolve it and fix it and make it happen.
Yeah. I'm also very happy to have. To finish with something working, and I'm very interested to have a look at this parameter and better understand why we had that issue.
Yes.
And if it's always the case, or maybe we were unlucky for some reason. But yeah, that's very surprising.
Well, you know what? I'm happy that we managed to get everything working, and I'm very happy that you came to show us how to do it. We'll try to put.
Thank you, Stack Overflow.
Thank you, Stack Overflow. That's how it is. I would say, as with everything else, there is unpredictability when you do live streams, and it's nice to be able to solve them within the allotted time frame.
Oh, and also I'm having a look at the stream, and I see we have more people viewing now than at the beginning. So
yes,
indeed, failing and having trouble is more interesting for people than something which I already prepared and was working flawlessly.
It is. What we find is that people value more how you get to the solution of the problem and what you look at, rather than the fine polished solution, right? It's otherwise you can point them to a YouTube video that has 10 minutes of summary. This is us troubleshooting and trying to find stuff live, which is great.
So for troubleshooting, we did one good thing, I think, is when I copy pasted the environment variables locally, so we could check that it was correct. That's really what gave us an idea that everything was good.
And people are saying
we should have used Stack Overflow from the start. I didn't use Google. That's the first thing I should have done.
Well, we had to eliminate certain issues, right? So we started. The first thing that we found is that we didn't have the right app ID, the client ID, which we fixed, and then we restarted. And then what we also found out is that we double checked or triple checked or quadruple checked that we had the right redirect URI. So then it's a case of, well, if we eliminated the error messages that are failed to user error, right? We have the right path, we have the right configuration settings, so there must be environmental issues, hence Stack Overflow.
Yeah, but it wasn't logical at first. It looked logical that we had some configuration issue on our side. Not that the app was working differently on Azure App Service than locally. This is very unexpected. So that's also why we took time to find this. But yeah, then I think we had a good strategy to eliminate the different issues.
Yep.
And then when we had no more issues, well, the thing was to go to Stack Overflow, and that's how it works. I did a lot of consulting, and most of the solutions I found was going to Google and typing the good Google. Also, that's a good skill. Typing the good Google query.
Yes, that is a skill, my friend. People sometimes pay us for that information. We just look it up for them.
One of my favorite consulting stories, when I was a consultant, we had a huge customer, and they had a big issue in production, and they had some, very expert consultant from, let's say, a competitor from Microsoft, and they sent a team of people from the US, and nobody found the issues, and it was like, horrible. And then, I arrived there, and like after like 2 hours, I just typed, something like that on Google, and I just found the solution on Google, and everybody was like, "Well, you didn't do anything. You just typed Google." I was like, "Yeah, but I mean, all of you people, you could have done the same.
Yeah.
My skill is just typing the right command on Google, which is simple and it looks stupid, but that's how you find the solution at some point."
Well, we found it together, my friend, and with the help of our friends as well, we're able to get to where we need to be to have a fully working environment, and I'm really happy for that. Thank you very much for your time, Julien. I know it's late for you. And,
time to it.
We'll try to summarize all the content. We'll try to put a blog post together as well so people can actually follow along and do it themselves if they want to. We'll add a link to the actual GitHub repo. We'll add a link to any other information that we found today. Thank you, Bolt. Thanks everyone on the Microsoft Developer channel for joining us. Before you go, I want to again thank Julien, and let's raid someone. Let's raid one of our friends, because it's always nice to visit somebody else. Julien, any last words of wisdom?
No, well, thank you for inviting me. I was very happy to be with you, and thank you for debugging with me, because I had half an hour of show where everything was flawless, and then we sweated together for 1 hour and maybe 15 minutes. Yeah. Just to find one parameter.
It's fine. It's like that, my friend.
It's where the fun is. It's also, why we do this job. It's
exactly. So
thanks a lot.
Yeah, so we're not gonna raid on the 4 to 5 channel, by the way, because we have our workshop happening right after this one with the reactor. So we're gonna go into a quick break for 5-6 minutes, and then we will switch context and we'll do our identity workshop. I want to thank Julien again for joining us. I will raid the Microsoft Developer channel because we're not going to be there anymore. If you want to join us for the workshop, make sure to go to twitch.com or aka.ms/425, so where we'll be. So thank you again, everyone. Have a lovely week, and we'll see you on Wednesday and Friday. Don't forget about that. Raid MSDev the 45. So that's a very good idea, Bolt. Thank you. See? What would I do without you, friends? What would I do without you? Awesome stuff. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.